Do I need a trust? Do I need a will? What are the differences? Some of my friends have these documents called power of attorneys. Is that something that I might need? Let me kind of answer some of these questions here. Now, obviously, when I'm discussing trusts and wills and power of attorneys, let me disclose I'm not an attorney. So you always discuss this with your attorney ahead of time. But let me give you some general rules of thumbs that you should think about. When you have a will, what happens with the will, all you're doing is on a piece of paper writing down, hey, if something happens to me, this is how I'd like my assets to be dispersed. The will doesn't necessarily avoid probate. Obviously, different states have different thresholds where probate may occur. With a living trust, what you're doing is you're setting up a legal entity which actually allows you to distribute your assets to your loved ones and completely avoid the probate process. So it makes their life a little bit easier when you're transferring assets to those loved ones. Now, some of you watching this video right now may have a special needs situation and you need to maximize what you're leaving to that child. The advantage of a trust is that you can create a special needs trust which can help not only leave assets to that child, but make sure it doesn't interfere with any governmental benefits that they may be receiving at the time. If you are really concerned about making things easier for the family, or you have a special needs situation, and it could be something as simple as, hey, you know what, I have this one child that, they are not good with money, and I want to make sure that they don't get it all at once. Maybe it needs to be doled out to them over a period of time, or I want somebody else in charge. The trust is wonderful in handling things like that. The other thing that ties into it is making sure that you have a power of attorney for healthcare, power of attorney for asset management. Because here's the thing, the trust, honestly, for those of us that create it, for husband and wife, it really does nothing for us while we're alive. It's really just to make things easier for the kids. What the power of attorneys are going to do is going to protect you while you're alive, in the essence that if for some reason you cannot manage your financial affairs, maybe you're in the hospital or you're becoming incompetent or something of that nature, this allows your loved ones to step in and manage your financial affairs in the event you cannot do it yourself. The other thing a big misconception that I see that happens even within spouses is a lot of times they don't set up the power of attorney because they're jointly on everything. Well, here's a scenario that they forget. Your spouse, IRA, 401k, SEP, KEO, TSP, 457, you don't own that jointly with your spouse. So now if something happens to them and now you need $5,000 out of your spouse's retirement account, you need a power of attorney. Just because you're primary beneficiary means nothing. That only comes into play if they pass away. But while they're alive, in order for you to get control of that, you need the power of attorney. And then what dovetails into that is making sure that you have a medical directive. This is going to allow your loved ones to make medical decisions for you in the event you cannot do it yourself. These documents are easily obtainable. Especially the power of attorneys, you can get them in the supply stores, you can get them on the internet. But when it comes to setting up the trust, we generally recommend it's a good idea to sit down with an attorney to make sure those I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Now, I did do an actual video with one of the attorneys that we actually work with directly. His name is Joseph Hudak. There are some links below where I actually had the attorney answer very common questions that we get. So if you'd like to watch that interview, there's some links below that you can click on. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. You'd really be doing us a favor. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in.